and this takes an inordinate length of time as the painting continues to suffer. There follows a long dialogue with Richard, who, while retaining continuous identity as Richard, changes physiognomy repeatedly. His face changed as follows: a gnome-like Napoleon Carter with a cherubic sunburned face, a wry smile and a Chinese coolie-type hat, a calf face as in A Midsummer Night's Dream, the ad for which did not include the calf, and as far as I can tell, never included Richard. I can't remember other faces or other action from this long episode. Before discussing the distinctions of form against content that this dream so clearly illustrates, I should comment on the circumstances of its recording and the timing of its occurrence. I was on an aeroplane where I do a great deal of my journal writing. I was flying to New Orleans for a highly publicized and well-attended public debate on dreaming. I usually record dreams on the morning after their occurrence. The fact that I waited 2 days in this case probably resulted in loss of detail. But, as I will presently show, there is more than enough detail to make clear the distinction between dream form and dream content. As far as the content is concerned, the dream is about my concerns for the upkeep of my farm in northern Vermont, which I have owned since 1965. Richard Newland is the son of my farmer neighbor, Marshall Newland, with whom I have had a long and complicated but successful and gratifying relationship. In spite of widely divergent priorities, we have managed to get along and to help each other. For me, the meaning of the dream is transparent. I am anxious about my property and about entrusting it to people who are careless about their own houses. This characteristic, known in psychological terms as emotional salience or relevance, is all I need to understand the dream, which is a variant on the theme of incomplete arrangements that is so recurrent in my dreams and in those of most of my friends. For reasons that I discuss more fully in Chapter 2, I see no need and no justification for treating this dream as a disguised, symbolic expression of anxiety about other related themes, my wife's interest in another Vermont neighbor, for example. While admitting that it could be appropriate and more useful to notice such an association, it does not help in understanding what caused this dream, determined its comical bizarreness, and made it so hard to remember. Form as opposed to content. To answer the questions about causes and characteristics of dreams, it is helpful to take a formal analytical approach. As is typical of most dreams, I am so involved in the scenario that it never occurs to me that I am dreaming. As I see Richard Newland and his unidentified friend, see my house even though it is clearly not mine, see the blue paint as it is sprayed on the walls, and move through the sequence of scenes, I accept all of these unlikely features as real on the strength of my hallucinatory perceptions, my delusional beliefs about them, and my very strong feelings of anxiety and apprehension. What this means is that our sense of psychological reality, whether normal dreaming or a psychotic symptom, is set by the strength of percepts and feelings as well as by our thoughts about them. Internally generated perceptions and emotions are two formal features of dreams, and they are cardinal features. To explain their intensity compared with waking, we might expect to find that parts of the brain that generate emotions and related percepts are selectively activated in sleep. We see in Chapter 5 that this is precisely what happens. My Richard Newland dream is not simply perceptually vivid and emotionally salient. It is also cognitively bizarre, by which I mean that despite the persistence of the main themes, there is a flagrant disregard for the constancies of time, place, and person. Notice that Richard's friend is not identified. Notice also that the house that is supposed to be mine could not possibly be so. And notice that the scenes, however poorly recalled and described, meld into one another. First we are outside walking, then inside painting. Notice most of all that Richard's face assumes a series of non-Richard features without ever challenging either the assumption that he is Richard or that I am not awake but dreaming, as even a glimmer of self-reflective awareness would declare me to be. These are the cardinal cognitive features of dreaming: loss of awareness of self, self-reflection.